Welcome to Hot 97 News, a brand new live news show where we talk about all the hottest stories happening around the country. I'm your host, Lana Harris, here with Ronndell with 2 N's and Million.
Hey.
And once again, there's a lot going on. In fact, we're starting off with breaking news because as we know, the president is in Davos, Switzerland.
Yep.
He is basically having to go to the World Economic Forum to talk about America, talk about, how great things are going here, affordability, all this kind of stuff. But it also means that he's going to have to look world leaders in the face as he's trying to take Greenland.
Yeah, you've been talking all this stuff behind that camera. Now it's time to get it. You in front of me now. You have to stay 10 toes down, bruh.
Right, at this point, we know Trump ain't no punk.
Oh, no.
That's true.
He will say it to their face. He will say it to their face for sure.
And he already has. So, okay, part of the breaking news here is that he did say he is not going to take Greenland by force. So that was a new development. I know they were just sighing relief all through that building because nobody knew literally what this man was going to do. So his quote there was saying, "We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that." He said, "I won't use force." He reiterated it so that everybody knows he's not going to do that. But he is still very serious about taking Greenland. So he did not stop there. He said, "Without us, right now, you'd all be speaking German and Japanese, perhaps."
I mean, he ain't lying.
What?
He ain't lying.
What?
Bro, he ain't lying. Without America, where would English be? We'd have accents right now.
Talking about because of World War II.
I mean, I'm just saying, we'd have access right now. We probably wouldn't even be here.
You know what's funny?
Give America some credit.
Talking about Europe. Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind having an accent. Cheerio. Hello. My name's Ronndell with 2 N's.
Okay, so that's not German.
Oh, sorry.
Or Japanese. And please don't try those because we don't need to get any complaints or cancellations. But yes, he said after the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. We gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? That's what his quote was. And so he feels like this enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America. He feels like that's our territory. And yeah, he still wants it. As far as I've seen, he has not undone the tariff threat. He basically said all those European countries who wanted to back Greenland, being in charge of Greenland's fate instead of just being on board with what he was trying to do, would face some tariffs, 10% tariffs starting February 1st until they just decide to get on board with this.
Dang, he said, I ain't gonna use no legal force. I ain't gonna tax you. I'm gonna tax you, but I ain't gonna take it without. I ain't gonna take it with force.
Yeah,
I feel him though. I mean, look, he did say everything with his chest though, so I will give him that.
He did.
I will give him that.
He did.
He did not back down from the. I mean, I would have been like, oh snap, I gotta say this now in front of y'all. Now I'm a little scared. I didn't know that y'all actually was gonna pull up on me. Like, nah, we pulled up on you, Trump, and Trump was like, bet, what's up?
Yeah, Trump is really showing his businessman mentality. It's like either my way or the highway. And that's what we're saying. The fact that he's still saying, look, I ain't gonna take it by force. Like you said, I'm gonna tax you is really like, that's some businessman stuff. And I can't necessarily disagree with it. Cause I mean, like I said, there's some strategic value in Greenland. He's not the only president that's wanted to get Greenland. So, hey, do what you gotta do, T. Do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do, T. Lana. What?
Y'all are boys now.
Do what you gotta do, T.
Y'all call him Trump. I call him T. Like, what?
I just think that there's a diplomatic solution and all these threats, like just what happens if all these European countries decide, you know what, bump the United States. We're all going to align ourselves with China now. And that is happening. Canada, I think the UK has had some kind of dabblings with China. So it's like, yeah, it's a strongman kind of thing to do and it could work. I hope it works out the way he thinks it will because that's, great for the United States. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't and people are like, yeah, bump the United States, we'll figure out new trade partners. We'll reorder this ourselves. Then what are we going to do?
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, they have China, not China, Canada has recently started doing some tariff tradings with not tariff tradings, some tradings with China.
Yeah.
And then they've also they have the EU right now, the European Union. So it's like they've already kind of shown us, where they stand, where they really lie. I want people to realize America was an isolationist country at one point. Like we was excelling without the use of the United Nations. We was doing all right before World War II. Just want to let people understand that.
Interesting.
So if we go back to that, I can't necessarily say we gonna crumble. I don't think America's gonna crumble. I think people are gonna have to listen to us more because now you're really gonna be coming to us begging us for more help.
We'll see what happens. I think that I like when the United States goes and helps a country, let's say if they are literally being, treated like there have been at least, historical happenings where people have been severely mistreated and the United States has come in and tried to help, World War II being a prime example. But sometimes just all this, I'm going to go into your country and be a bully kind of vibe. It's too much.
Yeah, eventually people are going to band together. The bully will only be a bully for so long.
And
then everybody goes, all right, bro, we're all going to band together and beat you up.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've seen it happen.
Right, because I don't know, because all these countries, to Trump's point, we are the power of NATO. We've got all the cards in our deck. We got the greatest military XYZ. It's all true. But again, yeah, if you take that mentality too far, what happens when they're like, all right, well, how can we hurt you? What can we do? Mm-hmm. I hope that day never comes. But just that's, the kind of risk that we're playing around with here when we're trying to strong arm everybody. So Europe's trying to figure out what to do. We'll see what happens. That also, I think, really perfectly segues, though, into this whole board of peace situation, which,
Quick question. All right. So I've heard y'all out there talking about board of peace, and I kind of did a little, I understand it to a certain degree.
Yeah.
What necessarily is the board of peace? Is it, in my eyes, I'm thinking it's just a group of the nations sitting around talking about, hey, how can we stop wars? How can we, make this better? Is that essentially what it is?
It's basically the United Nations. You know what I mean? We basically already have that, and that's why this is kind of getting some pushback. So this board of peace is, I'm assuming, Trump's creation because he's supposed to be the one who leads it. And it's tied to him, not to the U.S. president. So even after Trump were to leave office, he's still supposed to be leading the board of peace, which is comprised of all these nations who he's invited. And some have said yes, some have said no. That's kind of the latest count that we've seen, at least for today, Wednesday, January 21st. Obviously, there are probably some countries still mulling over things. So as of 10:07, January 21st, this is kind of where it's shaken up right now. Mm-hmm. But originally, from what I understand, the point was to figure out what to do with Gaza. And this was supposed to help run and enforce his peace plan in Gaza. Because as you know, there was a war. Israel went to war with Hamas. Hamas attacked Israel, I think October 7, 2023. It was devastating. I think about 12 to 1,400 people either were killed or were kidnapped. And Israel responded by killing tens of thousands of Palestinians and basically reduced a lot of Gaza to rubble. So it's just a lot of rubble. And everybody's been wondering, what are they going to do? Who's going to rebuild it? Who's going to be in charge? That's what this is. This is talking about who is going to keep the ceasefire from falling apart, which is where that is right now, and then to help decide who's going to run Gaza and who's going to organize the rebuilding. He's got his son-in-law working on this, actually, which is, conversation for another day. But yeah, this board of peace is supposed to help with this transition of Gaza. And then it went on to say, what if we then decided for all the wars? What if we decided for things beyond Gaza and became a whole board of peace where we all talk about, who has what, and we pick other conflicts to get involved in. We pressure leaders, we coordinate money. And that's what people are saying, but that's what we already do with the UN. So what are you trying to do here?
The thing about the UN is it's from what I've at least seen, is it's not as effective as people thought it was going to be, because what they're supposed to be doing, they're supposed to be applying refugee aid, food aid, disease eradication, peacekeeping around major countries, and then setting global norms. I don't see that across the world right now. And the reason why I don't see that is because they have certain rules within the UN right now that makes it difficult to actually get changes done. So they have a certain it's called the what is that board? It's It's like a board of it's a board of countries where there's security council. That's what it's called. A security council. And everybody gets 15 countries get to choose and like vote on certain policies that they like other countries in the UN pronounce. Like they could say, hey, we don't want this war to happen. Here's a resolution. We're going to send it to that council. There's 5 people on that council right now that are permanent. That's Russia, that's China, that's America, that's the UK, and France. They always veto. Like they always veto things, so nothing ever gets done. And the fact that they're permanent, if one person vetoes something, nothing gets changed.
Okay, so you're saying that this idea would potentially go around them and actually get things done?
Yeah, if this board, I don't know. It depends on like, I think they're still coming up with a way of how they're going to build this peace board up.
Yes.
I don't necessarily know how it's going to work, but the fact that the thing that does scare me about it is the fact that Trump, he's the board. He's like the head of the board.
Yes.
And then he elects the next board.
Yes.
So there's conspiracies going on right now that's saying that he could put in his son if he wanted to.
Oh, wow.
And then his son can elect the next board after that. And then it's just the Trumps running that whole peace board.
I literally was thinking, like, is Trump trying to make himself king?
Yeah.
Because that's very similar to what this sounds like. And technically, like, no, it's not that, black and white. But like, if you're saying I'm building a peace board of all the nations in the world and their membership is either free for a 3-year membership or they can pay $1 billion in cash to stay on this permanently. But I'm going to be leading this even when I'm not the U.S. president. Who would, you know what I mean? That's pretty nuts. And even if I'm not the U.S. president, I still get to decide who comes after me for this position, in which case I could pick one of my sons or my daughter or literally anybody that I want. I mean, it's like, who died and made you? You know what I mean? It's like, this is the audacity. But yeah, we can pull up the countries who have already gotten on board with this and kind of where this is shaking out so far. France was the first one who was like, nah, I'm not getting on board with this. Mm-hmm. And they said basically the reason for that was that they just felt like it goes beyond Gaza and it could conflict with the UN. You know what I mean? Like, we already got a UN for this, so I'm not on board. And Trump, by the way, was like, bump him. Nobody wants him anyway because he's going to be out of office soon anyway. And I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes and then he'll join, but whatever. So then Norway and Sweden today actually said they're not about it either. I thought it was interesting that Russia was even asked to be on this board of peace because we're currently trying to, by the narrative, save Ukraine from Russia. Right. We're doing all this in Greenland in part because of Russia. I would think Russia would be the last person, entity. Technically, Putin would be the last person that you'd ask based on the narrative that we have going around Russia being the big bad guy. Mm-hmm. What do you mean they're going to be on the board of peace and they're asking? But they're considering it. They said they want some more information.
Now, if Russia actually does get on board and this somehow, some way stops the war, I think we got to give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize.
At that point,
we got to give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize because that is crazy. If he gets Russia and Ukraine on board, that'll be wild.
But pay attention to the countries that have already said yes. A lot of these countries are really.
Did Israel surprise you?
Israel surprised me.
Really?
First of all, Israel surprised me because I didn't realize they were going to be on board with some of the countries that were also asked, because I'd done some kind of research on this. They were saying, I think specifically because of Turkey, they're saying like, we don't want to be a part of this. If Turkey's a part of this, call a spade, Israel's bombed a lot of countries in the Middle East and has kind of some beef with other countries as well, Turkey being one of them, from what I read. So they were kind of hesitant to get on board for that reason. But also, again, this is going to be the board that decides Gaza's future. Why are we talking about Gaza's future? Because Israel bombed them to smithereens after Hamas attacked Israel. But the fact is, Israel's the one that bombed them to smithereens. And now they're thinking about putting like a Riviera there and resorts. They're turning that area into like just this beautiful space for tourism and stuff, literally on the bodies of people who just lost their lives there, lost their communities and their neighborhoods and their buildings and all this kind of stuff. So it is interesting. If you ask people who are supportive of that effort on the Israel side, they'll tell you they were just acting in retaliation to the terrorist attack they had. You know, we had our 9/11 and went to the Middle East and did all types of things. They had their version of 9/11. Which for them was a lot more deadly by the scale of it and, you know, by the population. So they felt like they were totally in the right for everything that happened in Gaza to all those Palestinians. But, you know, that's a whole conversation for another day. The point is, they're being also asked and has accepted joining this board of peace to figure out what happens to Gaza next. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, we're going to have to see, man. We're going to have to see.
Yeah, y'all going to have to keep me updated because that was a lot. I ain't going to hold you. I was sitting here trying to keep up, and I was like, wait, what? Who is who? How's how?
We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah. He's just making a new club. He's just making a new club.
Okay.
Yeah. In short, the board of peace may or may not happen depending on who all decides to join, and then their scope of what they can do probably, you know, depends on what they get shaping up with who joins on. Okay, so we can also bring this a little closer to home because Minnesota is popping off.
Yeah.
Still. And I thought they were already popping off, but every day they just seem like they're just outdoing themselves. Yeah. So now there's a police chief in Minnesota that is saying that even their own officers are getting stopped by ICE just because they're a minority. So this is the Brooklyn Park police chief, and he's saying that it's happening to their officers while they're off duty. They're saying that federal agents are stopping them just as they're driving down the road or just walking down the streets. He said that in the last 2 weeks, there have been endless complaints about this happening to community members with no cause and just being stopped and forced to show the fact that they are here legally. So he actually described one incident that he says one of his officers went through, and she said that she was basically passing ICE, just going down the road, you know, past ICE, and they stopped her and boxed her in. So here's what happened next.
When they boxed her in, they demanded her paperwork, of which she's a U.S. citizen and clearly would not have any paperwork. When she became concerned about the rhetoric and the way she was being treated, she pulled out her phone. In an attempt to record the incident, the phone was knocked out of her hands, prevented her from recording it. The officer had their guns drawn during this interaction. The officer became so concerned, they were forced to identify themselves as a Brooklyn Park police officer in hopes of slowing the incident and de-escalating the incident down.
So let me get this straight. Y'all are detaining people that are here to protect and serve, bro. How crazy has it gotten that now, you know, you can't even, the police are even like in trouble, bro. You know what I'm saying? What? That's wild.
Is that fair though? It was an off-duty officer. Am I correct?
No, she was off duty.
She was stopped just for looking like a minority.
No,
what do you mean?
Yeah, I think he missed. What do you mean? I think he missed the entire point.
Well, they didn't know that it was an officer though. That's what it wasn't an officer. She was off duty and they stopped her. Unfortunately, yes, like I said, it is profiling. That's what they are doing. But what else would you have to do if this is the incentive that you're doing? Like, you're gonna have to profile.
I would think that this ICE effort could be focused on targeted people that they've done their research on and know this is an actual criminal. Where it gets to, I'm stopping literally anybody who looks Mexican, Dominican, Hispanic in any way, black. I mean, where how far does it go? This police chief said that it's happening to multiple officers in multiple police departments in Minnesota. And if they're going through that, they know the community is going through it because at least they can say, look, I'm an officer. He said after that woman identified herself as an officer, they just left. No words, no sorry, no nothing. They just went along their way. Other community members don't have that. God forbid you forget your license when you walk out. I've forgotten my license a couple of times. You know what I mean? So I think as people are looking at that, would you want that to happen in your community? You know what I mean? I feel like if you're watching from Minnesota, you're like, man, yeah, anybody who's Hispanic can just like get stopped at any point. And that's crazy. What if it happened where you were living? Yeah. What if you were Hispanic?
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. It happened when she was off duty. Like, who's to say they're not doing this again when people are on duty? I mean, we don't know the level that they're going to take it to, bro. We just don't know what level ICE is going to end up taking this to. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. We don't have no idea where they're going to take this to. So, I mean, if it happened to her off duty, imagine if a cop was like pulled up to a scene, a protest or something like that, and like trying to disperse people, and the ICE agent looks over and goes, Hey, ho, hey, you come here real quick, like to the police officer, because it's funny, but it's like real, bro.
Yeah.
Like imagine if that, what level is ICE gonna take it to? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What level are they gonna take it to? How far are they gonna go? Is where I'm getting at.
No, that's real.
The police chief there was saying that every one of these individuals who have been stopped in his department is a person of color. So they're literally just stopping minorities, according to the police chief, and just demanding they show their paperwork. So it just seems like something you'd see in a movie.
Yeah.
Not like in the streets of America. That's crazy. We already saw that story yesterday where they just ate at a Mexican restaurant and then arrested the owners later that night.
Yeah, that's a cheat code. You can't.
That's great. I mean, they're just...
Code.
So, also in Minnesota at the same time, some of their top officials just got subpoenaed. So this is the governor, Tim Walz, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, the Attorney General Keith Ellison, the St. Paul Mayor, and just a few others all got subpoenaed because the administration and really the DOJ is trying to figure out if they are impeding their efforts with ICE there. So they are trying to figure out specifically if these leaders obstructed federal law enforcement activities in Minnesota. And I think they're saying that because we've all seen the press conferences where they're like, hey, ICE is doing this, be on the lookout type vibe. I think that's legal, where you can just say, I don't support this. But if they've done anything that would obstruct their law enforcement activity, which is a directive, from the president.
For sure.
It is what it is. That's what they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, when I heard that, I thought, remember when Tim Walz was like saying he's going to bring out the National Guard? We didn't necessarily know if the National Guard was there to help us or was there to help ICE. That's how I took it, but I don't know.
Man, look, at the end of the day, these folks want you to leave these people alone, bro. Like, Tim Walz wants y'all to get out of the city and just leave y'all have to understand, y'all are bother. It's not even a bother. It's y'all are doing a little too much. I get that y'all want to take, like Lana said, the illegals that are here doing wrong. Go do your research first before y'all just start grabbing folks, man. Leave these folks alone, man. That's how I look at it. I'm looking at it from a very outside perspective because it's not happening here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think Tim Walz is just like, bruh, I want to help out my people in my city. If there are ICE agents out there trying to get at you, hey, watch out. Look out.
Yeah.
And I can't just tell them to leave, even though I want them to get out. So the best thing for me to do is say, hey, hey, I wouldn't walk around that corner. I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't go up the street. You get what I'm saying? So I'm with Tim Walz, man.
I think any person of color, people mistake me for being Dominican sometimes. If
Really?
No,
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Okay. Well, that's because y'all don't know I speak a little Spanish. I do a little dancing.
Boricua,
A little salsa, a little bachata, a little merengue. Y'all don't know about
They
it.
listening. They listening. Better be careful.
The point is, if you were stopped, to be stopped is one thing. And like, hey, let me just make sure you're a United States citizen. That's one thing, I guess. That's already kind of intrusive. But to say they are boxing people in, guns drawn, show me your ID. I'm thinking, oh my God, let me not move too fast. Like, that must be terrifying for people because they're guns drawn. And we've already seen the administration may decide in 2 hours, no matter what happened, no matter how murky it looks, it's justified with no real investigation. That's scary for people. Yeah. So to your question, when they deployed the National Guard, or when he said he was going to deploy the National Guard, that was him saying, look, if these protests get out of hand, we will have the National Guard out here, and it's me deploying it, not Trump. These are your fellow Minnesotans who are in the National Guard, so please don't harm them either.
Gotcha.
The whole point there will just to be to keep the peace. And some of these protesters are getting out of hand. You know what I mean? Because it's like, some of it doesn't seem like it's like, not real, but it's just like at a certain point, I do kind of put some responsibility on the protesters to change tactics a little bit. Like, don't just like follow ICE around because it's not changing anything. Go to lawmakers' offices and bang on the, like on whatever. Like, make it known to the people who can actually do something about this, like protest for sure, but like protest meaningfully so they can't just ignore you. Call your senators, call, whoever's office that can actually do something is what, I feel like. But, after the subpoenas, Tim Walz and everybody who got subpoenaed was like, this is just political theater. This is ridiculous. So, we'll see what happens with that.
But they got to go, though. from what I've.
So it's for information and records. It's not even for them to show up and speak. It's for records. They subpoenaed
they're
records.
subpoenaing records.
Yeah, so they want like the information from them. Yeah.
That's even more interesting.
So we shall see. What I do think is very interesting from all this is, number one, the government could shut down again because of ICE. And that's just a quick note, because Democrats are saying, if you guys want to pass any more money for ICE, we got to rein in some of this activity that we're seeing from ICE. So they still have to pass the budget. And if they don't by January 30th, the government shuts down again. And so, so Democrats are, basically saying we cannot vote on a DHS budget. DHS is over ICE. That doesn't restrain the growing lawlessness of this agency. Now, obviously, Republicans are saying, please don't do this to us again. We don't need the government shut down. We don't need TSA to have a problem and air traffic controllers to have a problem. But they want to see things like requiring agents to wear identification, limit customs and border protection agents to the border instead of being out here in these streets. And they want to require judicial warrants to arrest a suspect in these immigration cases. So don't just show up, no badge, unannounced, no kind of identification on you and grab somebody with no warrant. Like, make sure you have a warrant to be able to pull some of this stuff off. So we'll see what happens with that. But that is...
So I just, because I was about to ask this question.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and looked it up. Because the government shutdown, you were talking about that. I just wanted to know how much they were spending on ICE. And it's like $10 billion is allocated to ICE. That's outrageous. I didn't know it was that much. That's so much money for this, bruh. So much money. I'm sorry. I literally just had to look.
Can you look up real quick how many illegal immigrants have been arrested since Trump took office? Because remember, he was saying we are starting to do all of this because there were like 20 millions and millions of illegal immigrants who've poured into the country. And so for all these skirmishes on the street, you'd think, have 1 million been arrested at this point? How many illegal immigrants have actually been arrested at this point?
And so since 2024, that's before Trump's second term, ICE made about 149,000 arrests. During the first 100 days of Trump's second term, ICE reported 66,463 arrests.
That's in the first 100 days.
That's in the first 100 days. And this is the new report, January, mid-October 2025, various analysis. ICE arrests are roughly 220,000 individuals.
So less than 1 million?
Less than 1 million. Less than a quarter. I mean, he's almost at a quarter, but yeah, that's crazy.
That would be, based on what we're getting for this, they're going to be at this for decades, trying to get 20 million people out.
That's what I'm saying, man.
That's how it's already gone, and we haven't even cracked 1 million.
Now, if they start slowing it down by actually investigating it, as opposed to just seeing somebody and saying, hey, let me see your badge, or doing whatever they're doing, wouldn't it be longer? It would take
for
longer.
Sure.
But
again, what's the cost? How many skirmishes? How many people want to live in a police state where they're getting swarmed by cars at gunpoint to prove they're in the country? I mean, if this is how we're doing it, maybe we could figure out another way.
I feel it.
Because it's taking too long at this point, and y'all messing up too many people's lives, bruh.
Well, that is going to have to do it for this half, but we're going to be right back after this break. Welcome back to Hot 97 News. We do see your comments on YouTube. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube right now. I'm seeing that some of you are saying you're Dominican, so they're kind of like weighing in on the conversation we were just having with ICE. Great Caesar's ghost. We can't afford another government shutdown. Amen to that. I hope they figure it out. I really do. Because they just play games at this point. So yeah, if you want to say anything to us, we can see it. Might shout it out, throughout the show. So that's really cool. Okay, before we move on to trending topics, just wanted to go back to the conversation about just ICE and whatnot, only because the Justice Department is now musing over whether to bring charges against Don Lemon. Yes, for joining those protesters who went into that church that Sunday. Don Lemon, of course, used to be a CNN anchor. Now he kind of just does his own thing. And Nicki Minaj is Nicki Minaj. And those two went at it because of this as well. And so that all went down on social media because Nicki Minaj is here for putting Don Lemon in jail.
That's crazy.
Is what she said. She said this is what started it all. She said, Don, expletive, Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. And lock him up. Boy, I could not see that. That's why I read that really slow.
Nicki Minaj, we aren't going to go down the rabbit hole of charges that your man has, are we? Oh, we would never go down the rabbit hole of charges he has. Lock him up.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Actually, you know what's funny?
Don Lennon, you should just, if I was you, Don Lennon, I would tear her to pieces, boy.
He actually did say that in the next clip I'm about to show, but I cut out that part because he already went low enough, and that was you took it to hell.
Yeah, you going to hell.
he literally called out, what her man is accused of. Go down that rabbit hole yourself. But here is a piece of Don Lemon's response.
Let me just say this. Nicki Minaj, stop talking about for which you know nothing about. This is you're out of your depth, by the way, and you are a homophobic bigot. You don't care about African Americans, and you're not an African American. From what I know, you are reportedly an undocumented citizen, so you should be deported under Donald Trump's rules.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, and he ain't wrong, and he's not wrong, Nicki. You might want to sit this one out. You going up against a gangster when it comes to this. John Lennon is a gangster when it comes to this, Nicki. You do not want no smoke with that man. And for you to be homophobic, your whole fan base is in the LGBT plus community. So for you to even sit here and say what you said about Don Lennon, you're literally trashing your fan base. But Nicki, sit this one out for me, girl, please.
Now, she did say she just went that far because she was trying to be splashy, because she wanted to make sure it got the reach that she was trying to get it to reach. But, I'm sure she would say that she's not homophobic, whatever. The whole point is he claimed that she was because of that. And people have been trying to deport Nicki Minaj this year. I mean, she came out as a huge Trump supporter a couple months ago, right? This was very recent. She went to that Turning Point USA event and she was talking about, all these things. She interviewed or was having a discussion with Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow. And people said, we just got to kick her out of here, out of the country.
Yeah, nigga, you think they like you. You think they like you. I'm trying to tell you, these folks will turn on you in a second. Like these celebrities, when they get on that side of what they think, they're gonna love me, and as soon as you do something that they don't like, they getting rid of your behind. You're out the door. Like, bruh, you're out of the door.
That's real.
Okay? So you can say, I love Erica Kirk and Trump and da-da-da-da-da. And as soon as you say something that they don't like, deport her. Get her up out of here. Leave. Come on now. Y'all better stop playing with them folks.
You ain't lying. And I don't even think the fact that they're even considering arresting Don Lemon is crazy, because a church is supposed to be a public place of worship in general. So you would automatically assume that you could protest there if you wanted to. I didn't see no real crimes being committed in that. I don't think anybody got abused there.
Can you look up real quick, or one of you guys, can you look up just what the charge the DOJ is considering for Don Lemon? I'm pretty sure from what I saw, they were saying that they were impeding on their First Amendment right to assemble for religious purposes.
But they were using their First Amendment. Dang, man, DOJ, stop. All right, we got way much more money that we could be putting elsewhere, and you want to put it into this. This is crazy.
But before we move on from this, yes, they were trying to deport Nicki Minaj. There was a petition. 62,000 people plus signed it to deport Nicki Minaj back to Trinidad.
That's crazy.
Ain't you Trinidadian? Y'all don't, why you worried about what the church doing? Y'all be, you know what I'm saying? Y'all be doing the voodoo and the voodoo. Y'all don't do churches. No, I don't know what they do. I'm joking. So Don Lennon, as of right now, no criminal charges has been filed against Don Lennon by the U.S. Department of Justice. So there's no formal charge that has been announced in court documents.
Well, no, I knew that. I just didn't know, what would they even think that they were, what would be the charge? Because sometimes, they'll say, I'm going to arrest whoever. And it's for what? What do you think you can actually get them?
Under the the DOJ has signaled it might charge him under the Ku Klux Klan Act.
Get out of here.
What? That's what it says.
Wait, what?
The DOJ civil rights officials, including Assistant Attorney General Harmit Dillon, threatened to pursue charges against charges under the Ku Klux Klan Act, a federal civil rights statute dating back to restrictions, which makes it a crime to conspire to violate others' constitutional rights.
If Don Lemon goes down for the Ku Klux Klan Act in 2026,
Hey, man.
I'm going to bed. I'm not waking up. I'm not leaving. You guys have gone too far.
The Ku Klux Klan Act on a black man is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Okay, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens. Okay. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because we get to talk about UFOs.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You
too.
and I,
big alien fan.
you over there, you don't get it. You don't learn. Okay,
I
so
guess.
you can actually decide for yourself whether you think these people are credible. There was a UFO conference in Washington, D.C., and this was an event that was billed as bringing firsthand witnesses, medical experts, government officials, and U.S. insiders together to talk about some things that they have seen. Important caveat that no physical evidence was presented. And I know that's a big deal for people, because I'll be like, what? I want to physically see an alien or alien tech before I believe it. There was none of that. So all of these, instances that we're about to hear are just witness testimony, written statements, and medical claims. Not verified materials, but nevertheless, we're going to talk about it.
Hello.
Because it could be true.
It is true. Come on, Lana. We feel it in our bones. It's true.
Listen.
It's true.
Listen.
I be so excited about aliens. Y'all don't understand. I can't wait to meet them. I can't wait to talk to them. I hope a few of them are black. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog. I hope the aliens got a little swag to them. You know what I mean?
Walk up in there like, what's up?
Yeah, I hope they up there listening to Lil Wayne or something. Dog, I cannot wait, bro.
Okay, so what witnesses allege happened? There are actually a couple of people who talked. They're describing, in one case, a cigar-shaped craft that went down over this area in Brazil, and that was followed by reports of encounters with a living, non-human entity, and then claims of a rapid military recovery operation, which there is a documentary on one of these platforms right now. You got to pay for it, but it's out there. It's called Age of Disclosure, and they have actual people who have been in the government, have been around these actual legitimate circles, who have described similar things, that there is a military recovery unit basically that goes to crashed UFO sites and gathers all the tech. So this is something that has been alleged already. These are people who are talking about it from their end. So this one Brazilian man said that he followed what he thought was a blimp and then saw half of a craft intact, debris scattered, all this kind of stuff, a sharp ammonia/rotten egg odor, and then army vehicles quickly got there, forced him away at gunpoint, and then men in suits showed up, recited his name, his address, his family details, everything about him, and then warned him that he never saw anything.
Men in black. Men in black. Here come the men in black. Neuralizer. Clink. They neuralized them.
I think it's important to state that this is a filmmaker that brought this whole entire thing into place.
Who gave the filmmaker the idea?
Hello.
Who gave the filmmaker the idea? The crazy people. The people that claim. Why is it that we never actually see real evidence of alien craft anywhere? The only time I've seen some actual... I'm not talking hearsay, she say, you say, we say. I'm saying that actual evidence. In Mexico in 2023, they claim that they have found out actual aliens that they've seen, and it was presented to the Mexican government.
Yeah, I remember that.
This is 2023. I'm sitting here like, yo, this is crazy. Yo, they blew the whole thing apart. Bro, it turned out that the aliens that they found was like paper mache or something like that. I don't believe that aliens are, I ain't gonna say they're not real, but I don't think that they're worried about us. I don't think they care
That's a
enough
different
to be
conversation.
around us.
Whether or not they're worried about us, different conversation.
I think a lot of these people are crazy though. I don't think nobody has seen aliens
So
like they
do
claim
you
to
think
have.
they exist or not? That's because whether or not they're
Maybe.
worried about us is a different conversation.
I think maybe, and I think that the people that have seen the aliens has never.
Wait,
they're not worried about us.
Can't do this.
Yeah.
Can't do this with seen.
Oh my god.
They've seen them, bro. I know how y'all like to do allegedly. I know there's folks out there that seen aliens. I promise you. I ain't alleging nothing. I promise you there are.
There are actually women who spoke about seeing aliens,
See?
which are also talked about in that documentary. You should watch it. I thought it was interesting. It could be propaganda, could be all lies. I thought it was interesting. Okay, there were 3 women who said they saw a short being with red eyes, a large head, and oily, shiny brown skin with vein-like lines. One said it felt like the world stopped when she looked at it. All of them described panic and running. And then one of them described 3 fingers and an unusually large foot, and that she has not been the same since. So, for your viewing pleasure, and so we can kind of give you a visual of what that might have looked like, we asked AI to just generate, what would that look like? Potentially. And this is what we got.
That looked like a lot of y'all babies. I ain't gonna hold you. That looked like a lot of y'all babies. Terrible. Babies are aliens when they come out. I swear, none of them are cute.
That's true.
None of them are cute.
I also, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say he does look like a bad little kid.
Yeah, it looked like a bad little
it does.
kid. Yeah.
I was just thinking, now why does it have to be mean? Why does it have to be angry? So we thought, let's just see what it looks like if it was a happy alien.
Still terrifying.
That's scary. That's scarier than the last one.
Still terrifying. That alien looked like it's up to no good, bro. Like that alien don't look like it comes in peace. That alien don't look like it comes in peace, bro.
Well, I don't know. I think the whole conversation is fascinating, whether you believe it or not. I just think that, yes, there are movies about it, but what if the movies pull from reality? We wouldn't know, and people stand 10 toes down that there are no aliens for what?
Yeah.
You literally don't know. So how are you so sure that there are no aliens just because you don't believe it? Just because you don't believe it doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means you don't believe it. Why don't you believe it? Just because it's in movies?
No, that makes me believe it even more because where did you get the idea? Men in Black was made way before its time, bro. And there's other alien movies, but Men in Black was like such a, there might be stuff going on under the cities and stuff that we have no idea about. They made me believe that there's people like Men in Black in the world. There's no way that there's not these type of people going around saying, hey, y'all didn't see none of this, or hey, there is aliens, but we had to cover them up and stuff like this. And what really made me believe it is Men in Black 3 or Men in Black 2, when he went to one of the artists. It was an artist. He went there and he went to a show, and the artist pulled back his wig, and then it was like, such and such is an alien, such and such is an alien, and such is an alien. I was like, oh yeah, all these celebrities, aliens.
Okay. See? I've heard that too, but that's
So because there was a movie on it, it may be true. There was also the Avengers. We might be able to see Captain America's, and we might be able to see Thor, and we might be able to see the Hulk too.
I think that there could be things within those movies that are legitimate. Like, yeah, I've given it to you for, via like a superhero kind of movie purpose, but like, what if the tech that they have in those movies is based on reality? And that's what I'm saying. It's not saying like it's pulling it from one-to-one to reality. But what if they're basing it even loosely on reality? Like some of those problems that you saw in Marvel movies where they were like talking about weapons developments and weapons shipments, that stuff happens in real life. Mm-hmm. They did a movie about the Twin Towers going down before the Twin Towers go. I'm just saying I don't know. With media, you literally never know.
You don't. So how can you be so sure?
Well,
how can you be so sure?
So what is the reason that the aliens haven't shown themselves already? Can y'all at least give me that?
That was to your point. They're not bothered by us. Do you stop and acknowledge an ant? I've never stopped and acknowledged an ant. I'm imagining that they've just, if they exist, which I don't know, I just also don't not know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going down on a hill because what do I know?
Exactly.
And yeah, I just think that if that's a thing, then maybe they're just not even bothered with us.
And if there are aliens, I just want y'all, when y'all do come get Million first. All right? Come get Million
right
first. Take him up with you. Do whatever you need. Do all kinds of experiments. Let them know y'all real. Me and Lana, we on your side.
We're good.
We good. We rocking with you. Mm-hmm. Million, get him.
Alto Keys is saying, aren't like fishes and some animals literally aliens until we name them? Should they call anything ethnic alien?
You have a point.
You got a point.
You have a point.
Got a point on that one.
It's always something that we've seen prior before. It's nothing like new. Like these aliens, it's just like they have fingers just like us. Oh my goodness. They have heads just like us. If it's something that's completely out of this world, why wouldn't they have things that we can't even explain? I'm saying, why would they have figures that look somewhat similar to us? That doesn't make sense.
They would.
It's only us that are generating these these images, and then we're claiming that it's something out of this world, but it's really just us.
You think it's just like some figment of somebody's imagination that came up with just the look of an alien, and then everybody just like went with it.
It's a figment of our imagination based on what we already know, which is what you look like. I know that humans have fingers, so the alien is gonna have fingers. I know that we have heads, so the alien is gonna have a head and it's gonna have a brain. It's based off. It's just so funny how everything that we have said we've seen is based off of what we already know.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
That is an interesting take. I do, however, just wonder how we got all the crazy technology that we have, because in that documentary I was talking about, they also talked about the idea that some of these aircrafts that they find are basically just descended upon by whatever just military unit that they have. It's like, I can't remember what it's called. It's like comprised of like the Department of Energy, a couple others. And they could take the tech they have and then reverse engineer it to figure out how it works. And some of the tech that we have right now is honestly insane. How did you come up with that? We were alive for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and you just figured out how to make a phone. You just figured out how to make a chip. You know how tiny and intricate chips are that power computers and stuff? Do you know how those are made? Like, you can't have any part of you, like, exposed. You got to be in full suit to make a chip.
A chip.
So it's like nothing human is really about that process. You can't, a human couldn't replicate it if you tried. You need machinery. How did you make the machinery to make the chip when humans can't even make the chip?
I'm here with you, Lana.
I'm
here
got
with
questions.
you. I'm locked in with you.
I got questions.
I'm locked in
That's
with you.
it.
It's precedence. We've taken for how we got to the cell phone is we started with the house phone, and then we went back and we started with the telegram, and then we went back and we started with rocks. It's just precedence. We're building on.
Went from rocks.
Yes.
They built it
That's
with rock.
Fire and rock. Everything just stems from what we've known prior.
I got you. Let me scratch my rock together with you. Hello?
Are you coming up with a phone yet?
Hello? Hello?
But it's so funny because the mic that you're talking. Oh yeah, I'm crazy. But the mic that you're talking on right now is made out of some sort of material from the ground. It's all precedence that's happened prior.
We hear
That's
you.
all I'm saying.
No, we hear you.
We hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
Next subject. No,
yeah.
joking.
Okay. Comments real quick. Back in the 80s, the movies had FaceTime and holograms already. That's what I'm saying. Like, and the tech they probably have right now that we don't know about yet is probably crazy. Where do they get that from? I'm off my hill, y'all. I'm off
Why
my
y'all
hill.
think China is so ahead of us when it comes to technology? Aliens.
Get out of here. Oh my
That's all I'm
God.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying.
You know, you need a voice of reason on the show. So that's great. That's great. But definitely come for him first when y'all touch down over here.
For sure.
Okay. So this is kind of on the same vein. I don't know what you're going to think about this.
I looked at it. I was like, dang, we gonna keep going then. Shoot.
We're about to show you this cow. This cow is kind of proving that animals might be a little smarter than you think. We'll play the video and I'll tell you what's going on here. So livestock animals, obviously like cows, are assumed to be less intelligent because we look at them for food, for just work. You're going to drag this big old barrel. This cow was basically seen using this as a tool. And apparently, like, tool use is a really big indicator of intelligence. And this whole idea of this was this cow took that brush and specifically used that brush side for kind of like the top in its body, and then it would use the other side. You'll see it flip. It's not going to flip it over, but you'll see the flipped version of it, where it will use the other side of the stick to scratch more sensitive parts. So basically they found that this cow was deciding to use this for a specific purpose, and that's why they ended up studying. It's a real study. I did look it up to make sure it was not just, some old crazy, nobody saying, oh, this is cool. This was actually studied. So researchers, did this experiment where they did this. They just kind of set the broom in front of her and saw what it would do. And so they feel like this is interesting because this is not something that's typical, again, of just mammals.
Listen, Doug, I'm trying to tell you, animals are smarter than what we think they are, and I think they just don't want to show. Listen, this cow is probably extremely smart. It's not going to show you how smart it is because then you're going to make it work harder. You're going to make it do it more work if it shows you. Like, animals aren't dumb, bro. They're actually really, really intelligent, but they're probably like, I'm not going to show these humans how much I can do because then they're going to work me even harder. Animals are like men, all right? They're just like dudes. We let our women know exactly what we make them think that we're stupid. We make them think that we're dumb. That way we ain't got to work as hard, you know? And then, you know, we play dumb. We play dumb. We're actually really smart and we know how to do a lot. But to y'all, we don't know how to do nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this, but I did go on a rabbit hole here and try to figure out, like, well, what else are these animals out here doing that we don't really know about or expect? And so there have been other studies, and you can look them up, but they have said that killer whales, wild killer whales, bit off and shaped some kelp and used it between their bodies to basically groom themselves, like social grooming. So that means like I am purposefully biting off this kelp to use it to groom. Crows counting out loud on cue. Trained crows produce exactly 1 to 4 vocalizations to match a symbol/sound cue. And that suggested a deliberate number control, not just like random calling, like they did it on cue. Bumblebees learned a 2-step puzzle that was too hard to invent solo. So when I looked into that one, they were basically saying these bumblebees were shown basically a directive. This is what you do. And it couldn't pull it off. But when it watched a different trained bee do it, it could figure it out. So it was basically saying that bees could get like social cues from each other was what this study was. Mice, first aid style revival attempts. That when a caged mate was unconscious or unresponsive, mice escalated from sniffing and grooming to mouth and tongue pulling and clearing obstructions and improving recovery. Ants were doing the same thing. Ants had a targeted antibiotic wound care. So yeah, when these certain type of ants detected when wounds were infected, they would treat their little nestmates using antimicrobial secretions. And they would also do like life-saving amputations based on where the wound was. So for Florida carpenter ants, they would amputate an injured leg off if it would help the infection stop spreading. But they would choose a different care option depending on where the wound was. These are all animals doing things that suggest some kind of intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we want animals to get this smart though, bro. That's scary. Y'all seen Planet of the Apes? Like, we don't want to see that happen, bro. We don't want to see that happen. As soon as animals get like extremely, extremely, extremely smart, or like they already are, and they just start showing their hand, bro, it's over for us. They start showing their hand. When animals start showing their hand of how intelligent they are, bro, it's over for humans, dog. Over. Imagine your dog coming in. Your dog gonna start feeding itself.
Rough.
Yeah. Rough.
I want my food now.
Yeah. They gonna start doing stuff that they don't need us no more.
Only pushback I would give on this, right? It's not whether they have knowledge, because we know they have knowledge. They do have systems in how they operate and move throughout nature. Do they have sentience? And that's what we have. And sentience is the capacity to have subject experiences, feelings, or sensations, particularly the ability to feel pleasure or pain, distinguishing it from mere reaction or stimuli. Do they have feelings? Do they have emotions? That's what I wonder. And if it comes out that they do have feelings and emotions, shouldn't we stop eating them?
That's proven that dogs and cat and all that they have.
And I think either dolphins or whales like will mourn if there's something happens to one of their like loved ones.
So y'all going vegan?
No.
But you know you're hurting them. You're hurting their feelings. You know that
I'm not
feel.
hurting nothing. I ain't killed not an animal in my life, so I'm not hurting nothing. I'm just enjoying them. You know what I'm saying? But here's my point, though. If they get smart enough, bro, they gonna understand, like, oh, y'all been eating us this entire time? It's a rebellion, dog. It's going down in the animal kingdom, bro. Straight up.
Really hard to think about that. You know what I mean? It's very trippy because these aren't just like, again, random, just like, crackpot ideas. These are actual scientific studies they found when they're looking at these animals and what they can do. So I don't ever think about ants and like bees, really. But if you really stop to think about it, it is really fascinating.
Very,
you know what I mean?
That's
Very.
messed up. I think we should stop eating them if they do have emotions. If
Well,
they do
you
have
start first.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
don't you lead
Let's
the
do it.
charge
Let's do
and
it.
see,
Let's do it.
if it catches on
You know
in
what
the
they did with
office.
that cow
catch
right
it up.
after he did all that experimentation?
They killed it. They killed it. They killed it, and they ate it. And
sold it right to you.
And they said, "Look, you're too smart of a cow." Because look, that cow got smart. And I'm trying to tell you, once that cow got, and the cow gonna show his hand. Now the cow gonna be, doing his taxes and all kinds of stuff. They're gonna make these animals. The AI gonna take over. They're gonna get rid of the humans, and then the animals are gonna become the humans. Watch.
Animals are gonna be like, finally.
Yeah.
It's
Watch.
our time.
Watch, dog. Watch what I
funny.
tell you.
Then PETA is all correct. Everything PETA talks about is correct.
Peter's been trying to
They've
warn
been
y'all.
telling everybody for ages. PETA has been telling us. Damn.
Nobody took Peter seriously.
That's hilarious.
People take Peter seriously. I'm just kidding. I don't have any fur. We don't have any fur. We take it seriously. Whatever. Okay. Final thoughts. Comment section.
Shout out to the animals out there.
Shout out animals.
Shout out animals.
Yeah.
The bunnies specifically.
The bunnies. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know you like
What
some
kind of
bunnies.
bunnies?
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
I bet you do.
Oh,
Want to
right.
shout out the bunnies out there.
All right.
Whales and dolphins definitely do. You're right there. Imagine a panther, a wolf, and tiger pull up in a black truck, strapped.
Crazy.
That's funny. Not back to y'all. Well, thank you so much for hanging out in the comments. That's going to do it for us. But we will be right back here tomorrow.
Oh,
No,
And we also have another show.
There you go. And like literally in the
Stay
Stay
in there.
tuned. The Atlanta section of Hot 97 News is next. We'll be right back.